Here's a question for you. Why would a couple who are separating and ultimately divorcing keep a joint bank account open? Hi, I'm Ada Hasloecher with the Divorce and Family Mediation Center, and I'm going to answer that question today. One reason has to do with their tax refund check if they are still filing a joint return. Because while they're still living under the settlement agreement and until the judgment of divorce is signed by the judge, they can still file a joint tax return, which many of my couples do. And the tax return, the tax refund check is going to come in both of their names and should be deposited in a joint account. Now, they're not going to keep the account open forever, but at least for the purposes of receiving that refund, it's a good idea to have a joint account. But the main reason that my couples will do it has to do with the way they share expenses for the children. If you've been watching my videos, you know I've discussed very often about those extra expenses for the children above and beyond what child support covers. Educational expenses, medical expenses like copays and premiums and things like that. But a lot of times the additional expenses include tutoring, extracurricular activities, birthday presents for the kids and for their friends, for their parties. And there is a list, a whole host of additional expenses that couples agree to share. So how do they reconcile with each other? One way, and this had happened for many, many years, they would sit down at the end of the month, go through the receipts, do a reconciliation with each other, and then kind of, figure out who owed who money. But a lot of my clients now have decided to have a specific joint bank account open that they both have obviously access to. They fund that account at the beginning of the month. So let's just say they've got 3 children and they decide to keep a minimum of $1,000 in that account. Great. And then they each have full transparency and disclosure on that account. They both have a debit card associated with that account, and they can use the monies in that account for the shared expenses that they both agree. Assuming for a second that they both earn equal money and they're funding it equally, what would happen is at the end of the month, they see how much money in that account has been depleted. And then at the beginning of the next month, they refund that account equally to make sure they start each month with the $1,000 and so on and so forth. This is something that many, many, many of my couples are choosing to do right now. And it makes perfect sense for them because they don't have to sit there with all those receipts and go through that rigmarole of trying to figure out who owes who money. So come to my table, let's discuss this. Ada Hasloecher, Divorce and Family Mediation Center. Thank you for listening.